What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you the second of two lists. You know, of course, these type of lists, they go hand in hand, being the best anime I watched of 2017, and now the worst anime I watched of 2017. You know, I actually got dressed up to talk about these bullcrap anime. Man, so usually the reason why this list is kind of short is because usually I know. I can look at an anime and be like, that's probably going to be shit. And I can skip that anime promptly. So I don't usually, get enough anime that just suck, you know what I'm saying, so bad to make a list. But this year, since I tried to venture out and watch different things, I actually accumulated quite a few anime that were freaking garbage. And so, not all of these anime are just dumpster fires. Some of these anime are good, but just have horrible parts that just throw them completely off from being better than they could be, or being what they could be. But let's hop on into this list. Starting off this list relatively familiar, If you watched my video from yesterday, Kato, the right answer, got the wrong answer in the end of the freaking show. So Kato was a great ride. It's a perfect example of a show that is a great ride with a horrible end. Because every week I tune in to watch Kato. And usually what I do is, because there's so many anime in the season, like, I'll have, 3 or 4 anime I'll watch, and then 3 or 4 anime on this side I'll watch. And I'll skip, 2 or 3 weeks. So that way I can marathon these 3 or 4 shows, and while I'm skipping these shows, then marathon these 3 or 4 shows. This way, I can kind of, catch everything at a time, while doing other stuff, too. And this show, I couldn't do that. I watched every week because I wanted to know what was going to happen. I couldn't just wait 2 weeks to watch more Kato. I had to watch Kato when it dropped. And the end was so bad that it put it on this. The end of the last third of the show put it on this list. This one kind of hurt because this one wasn't honorable mention on my best list, but Berserk Season 2, or I guess technically 3 if you want to count the Golden Age arc, it's the first season, but the second CG season of Berserk, man, while things did get a little bit better as far as the directing standpoint, there was a lot of things in the execution of the show that just were still bad. The show still kind of looked bad. It looks a little bit better. There's more color, but it still looks just as bad as it did last year, or in 2016. The sound design with the big, his sword sounding like a frying pan. I actually like this show. I really like Berserk. I like the show. The problem is, the execution is just so bad. And the way they ended the show makes me feel like they kind of heard how the industry was turning on this show, how the fans were turning on the show, and they probably decided to end it here. Hopefully, they'll get another studio to do a Berserk adaptation, and this isn't all we get forever, but it could possibly be. Alright, this one's funny. Taboo Tattoo. So, this show came out in 2016, I believe. I think 2016. And it's kind of like your, like edgy action show along the same veins as a Kame Ga Kill. It's about this guy who gets a mystical tattoo that gives him some powers, and powers in this show are based on tattoos. Now, it's a lot going on in the show about like the U.S. government and this weird empire that are battling for control of the tattoos, to control the world, and they literally like rip Neo from the Matrix and put him in this show, which is pretty crazy. Like, literally, Neo from the Matrix is this guy's mentor. And they toy around with, like, tropes, anime tropes. They kind of, like, poke fun at them. But the bad thing is, you poke fun at the trope, but then you use this trope when you're trying to be serious. And that's probably the reason why this show is kind of bad, because it tries to be serious after doing stuff like this.
して小僧、お主は何が知りたい？
全部だ。呪文のこと。
ここでお主に言えることは、わらわの大河。
Yeah, that's the main character and his love interest, and he's just watching his love interest get full on molested by the main villain. And they tried to be serious after that. And another show that is freaking hilarious, King's Game. It's unintentionally hilarious. Because with Taboo Tattoo, they at least were trying to kind of be funny. King's Game was trying to be serious. And I'm like, no, this is hilarious. Alright, the show is bad. Like, it's about a death game where people get text messages and you have to do whatever's on the text message or you're gonna die. And the text message is usually something lame, like, oh, you have to grab this chick's boobs, or you have to, screw this chick, or make out with this person. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, I mean, I can say, like, oh, stab Jimmy in the back with a knife or something, and kill Jimmy. Yeah, a text message came up and said, kill Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? I could see, like, okay, something hard, like, oh, no, but grab Roberta's boobies or something. Like, come on. But the show is unintentionally hilarious, but it is one of the worst anime I've watched in 2017. So this show had to be on here. I hadn't mentioned this show yet. Isekai Cell Phone Jesus. That's all I'm calling the show, because I ain't even going into detail trying to do the actual title of the show. That's what this show is called. Isekai Cell Phone Jesus. And yes, this show is one of the worst anime I've seen this year. This was a contender for #1 as far as the worst show I've seen this year. But it didn't get there, though. Because there are crappier things than this dude accidentally getting killed by God, getting moved over to a new dimension where he can carry his cell phone and he's like uber powerful. There are worse shows than that in 2017. And one of those shows is Handshakers. I hope you guys don't remember Handshakers, because I do. It's still in my brain. Those freaking CG chains are still in my mind. And Handshakers is basically a show where you get powers from holding hands with. I can't remember how the two end up getting together, but they get powers from holding each other's hands. And it's a kind of like a battle game where you fight each other, and the winner gets a wish. And I think dude wants to fight God. I'm not even really sure, but the story is lame. And one of the reasons why I'm hard on this show, but I don't want to be, because this show is made by a studio called Go Hands. And if I'm not mistaken, Go Hands is usually a studio that animates like key animation and like parts of animation for other studios. And this is their first major, their own first IP. And so, you know, first time, you know, it's understandable to be lame, but good God, this was horrible. Like, I mean, I couldn't get past the first episode with, like, him fighting, like, the main character uses, like, cogs, and he can make into, like, a weapon. The other, like, antagonist dude has, like, horrible CG chains. It looks like they were rendered completely differently from the actual show. And, like, he's, like, stomping on this chick's, like, midsection, like, to get power, like, instead of holding her hand, he's, like, stomping her, and she's like, oh, she's getting ready to hit the climax, she's getting ready to hit the zone, and the chains are everywhere. This show's ridiculous.
で、声をかけてくれたのは美人のお姉さんだった。女の子が一人でいると危ないよ。
And now for the worst show of 2017. A show that is worse than Cell Phone Jesus and Handshakers combined. Like, if Cell Phone Jesus had CG chains, it would still not be as bad as Skirt No Naka. Now, I had never talked about this show because I didn't hear about this show until a couple days ago, when I watched a Nux Taco video where he talked about all the anime that came out last year. And he talked about Skirt No Naka. I think it was that video that he did that I heard about this. And I ended up looking up the show and actually watching a bit of the show, realizing this is the worst show of 2017. Skirt No Naka is another one of those like short run anime where it's like 3 to 4 minutes long per episode. And the story is of she's a shy, modest chick, you know, and she gets you know, she's not a big sexually active chick, and she ends up getting involved with this big freaking blonde Amazon looking chick, and she gets drunk, and the blonde Amazon chick takes her back to a hotel room and pretty much rapes her essentially. Turns out blonde Amazon chick is actually a dude, and they actually go through the story of why he's, you know, this is in between rapes, by the way, because there's like maybe a minute or two of story, and then there's a long, horrible, like, it's a long bootleg, like, I wouldn't say horrible as far as content, it's not like, you know, Law and Order rape scene content, but it's like sexual content that borderlines on hentai, but it doesn't go nearly as far to actually be a hentai. So, yeah, that's 2 minutes of story, and then 2 minutes of this crappy sex scene. And in between these, like, you know, rape scenes, you know what I'm saying, the chick, you know, eventually ends up liking it and getting to know his backstory as to why he dresses like a chick. You know, the show is ridiculous. Why does this exist? If you wanted to make a hentai, by all means, make a hentai. That's fine. Hentai, people make hentai every day. You know, but it seems like you guys wanted to make a hentai, but you didn't want to actually do that, so you decided to, let's dial it back so that, you know, dial it back enough so that we can get a license to release on TV, because this show had a PV, which means it was probably on TV in some backwater Japanese channel. This is the worst show of 2018. Oh my god, 2017, sorry. But that's about it. Hopefully we get some better stuff in 2018. This year, hopefully, should be better for anime. I'll do another list on the top 10 most anticipated anime of this season, of this year. Not just the season, I already did that. You can check that out in the description down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, folks, oh crap, keep it real.